Slava Isusu Christu, glory be to Jesus Christ. Hello everyone, and welcome back to our third week of our journey through St. Philip's Fast. Last week, we talked about the prelude of the Nativity, the entrance of the Mother of God into the temple, a feast that is very important in our tradition because it signifies what Mary's role is in all of this, how she, the one who entered into the temple, is to become the living temple of God through her very own pregnancy. This week, we shift gears a little bit. This week, we encounter a saint, someone who never met Jesus in person, someone who was not around during the lives of the first apostles as he came a couple centuries later. Of course, I'm talking about the great Saint Nicholas, a man who is well known throughout the Christian church. He has churches and organizations named after him all over the world, and whose feast we celebrate on this Sunday, on December 6th. So who was St. Nicholas? Why do we celebrate him? Why is he such a popular saint? Well, the truth is, he actually was nothing of all that special. And I mean that with the greatest respect, of course. But if we were to look at some modern-day examples, we can get a sense of what I mean here. Today, due to social media and news, we hear a lot about bishops and cardinals all around the world. Now, unfortunately, there is a lot of negative press going on right now, but there's also positive. We all know about Pope Francis and the good he has done in caring for the poor. We often hear about our patriarch, Sviatoslav, for things he does or says. In Canada, we hear a lot about Archbishop Richard, who is the president of the Canadian Conference of Catholic Bishops. He ends up writing a lot of letters that get made public. We hear them in our bulletins or on the internet. But that is only 3 bishops. What about the hundreds of other bishops around the world? There are many who are simply doing their job, looking after their eparchy or diocese, and running them so smoothly that there's nothing newsworthy about it. This is what St. Nicholas was like. He did his job, and that's it. The biggest thing that caught people's attention was his work with the poor. But shouldn't that be a given, especially for a bishop? You see, back in the 4th century, when St. Nicholas was known simply as Bishop Nicholas, he was one who helped out the poor a lot. He came from a family with a bit of wealth, and he was able to use that wealth to help those in need. The famous story, of course, is the story of the 3 daughters who were about to be sold to become prostitutes, just so that their family could have money for food. Bishop Nicholas wanted to prevent this, so under the darkness of the night, he snuck some bags of gold into their house so that they did not have to resort to such a way of life. This is where the idea for the model for Santa Claus came from, our modern-day Santa Claus, giving gifts in the night to people. Now, of course, the modern image of Santa that we have comes from complete commercialism. Coca-Cola. They are the ones who created the image of Santa that we know today. And even though St. Nicholas is not a red coat wearing, a big white beard, and a big belly of a man, it doesn't mean that St. Nicholas has lost his importance. Today, St. Nicholas Day is celebrated all around the world. For some, the tradition is that Christmas gifts are actually given on the Feast of St. Nicholas, rather than on Christmas Day. For some, it's a day to give smaller gifts in memory and honor of this man. But either way, we can all take the example of St. Nicholas as a reminder of what to be doing during this time of preparation for the Lord's Nativity, and also all year round. St. Nicholas, even though he was part of the First Ecumenical Council and stood up against Arianism, the famous slapping of Arius, which is the denial of Jesus' divinity, he became popular and saintly because of his goodness. He was no great theologian or writer or anything else like that. He simply lived out his Christian life to the fullest by giving what he had to those in need. In chapter 18 of Luke's Gospel, verse 18, we hear Jesus talk about how God alone is good, but that real goodness is possible for us too. St. Nicholas, he was the real deal. He was good. The Messiah came into the world so that we human beings can be good as well. St. Nicholas became good simply through his actions. We can do the same, give of ourselves to others so that we too can become good. In a few weeks, we celebrate the day that God became man. The reason for that is so that we too can become good, so that we can be brought back into paradise with our God. This concludes our third week of our journey through St. Philip's Fast. Join us again next week as we go back to Mary and her parents when we celebrate the feast of the conception of St. Anna. As well as a reminder, I'd like to remind everyone, especially the families, but anyone who would like to partake in something special and unique this year, on Sunday, I believe at 6 o'clock, the Feast of St. Nicholas, our Metropolitan, Archbishop Lawrence, will be doing a special video presentation online. It'll be live online about St. Nicholas. And I'm told that St. Nicholas might even be present, might be making a special visit to Metropolitan Lawrence's residence there for this video presentation. So for more information on that, you can visit our Facebook page and look for the ads. As well, just go and visit archeparchy.ca and look for the news bulletin regarding that, because that is where it will be broadcast live from. So again, I encourage all families to participate in that this week, as it'll be a unique way to celebrate St. Nicholas Day this year. Other than that, I wish you all good health and happiness. I encourage you to remember to follow the rules that we have in place right now so that we can all lower our numbers in this province of Manitoba, and that we can all get better sooner rather than later in order to join again in our parishes and worship God together. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you next week. Slava Isusu Christu, glory be to Jesus Christ.